Oh, I found another one. As, as a Panthers fan, I do not want Carson. I said Weird did not want a very good quarterback in a good system. He said, I think Teddy Bridgewater is better by a little. And I said, think some more then.
That's mean.
Fucking Vince.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm gonna need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Welcome to episode 40 of Birds vs. Boys, ladies and gentlemen. What a day for America today as we record. But you know what? We don't have time to talk about that. But we are very lucky to have Aidan here tonight. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to record. He just got home, I think, from your trip to D.C., right? How was it?
No, don't put me in this. Don't put me in this. But, you know, I guess I wish I could come up with a joke or something like this in this scenario, but I know I usually do something funny or a gig to start the show, but it's hard not to be serious right now because we witnessed an attack on our country. We saw a mockery of our system. It's one of those things you're always going to remember where you were when you saw it. It probably filled a lot of people with shock and sadness,
anger.
And I was about to say anger probably filled you with rage. And you really have to question leadership right now. There needs to be changes. There will be changes. And from here, we just, as a group, how do we recover? Can we recover? And if you haven't picked up on what I'm referring to right now, I am referring to the Eagles tanking in the fourth quarter of an NFL football game in week 17. How do we recover from this national travesty that was the Eagles replacing a quarterback who was throwing under 50% with another quarterback who threw under 50%? It was a mockery of the system.
Integrity. No integrity.
That we witnessed a true lack of integrity.
It was a siege on football.
It is an embarrassment to the country. I cannot believe that we are where we are today, and change needs to be made. Change will be made.
And I think Joe Judge is going to lead that change.
Oh, God. We'd be a loser society. Talk about snowflakes. There's number one right there.
The fallout still from this has been unbelievable. And you are here with Kmess and Aidan, episode 40 of Birds vs. Boys, brought to you by Stateside Vodka and Branded Sports. It's still been unbelievable. The Twitter mob and the Facebook mob, and probably people still crying on MySpace about this. It's just like, it's football, man. Like, what?
It is the strangest social outrage I've seen over just a topic like this in quite some time. I know it's made headlines everywhere, and all the talking heads. This is one of those things where baseball hasn't started, hockey hasn't started yet, basketball, it's, you know, they're in week 2, so the games they're just doing cardio at this point, and the NFL is approaching the first week of Wild Card Weekend, and it's early in the week. So what do you talk about? You have to find a topic to argue about. So they honed in on such a stupid topic.
So stupid.
4-11-1 Eagles team benching their backup quarterback for their backup quarterback. It blew my mind how much this is blown up. We talked about it on Monday. I really did not expect to talk about this as we record Wednesday night.
No. And I think I text you guys. I was listening to our guy, RJ Choppy, with Sean Sharif on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. And they had Jerry Jones on, as they always do each week. And they're asking him about his thoughts about what the Eagles, quote unquote, did, which they didn't do anything. And he's like, well, you know, I just think they just wanted to see some reps from that tall quarterback they got up there.
What a great answer.
Like, yep. That's it.
Jerry didn't even take time to learn his name. He forgot it quicker than Ben DiNucci's name.
He calls our center who started half the season. His name is Biotish. He calls him Badaz just because he just refuses to learn how to say Biotish because there's a Z in his name. He's like, nope, that's Badaz.
Old people are so stubborn. That's such an old person thing to do. They're just, it doesn't matter how much money you have. When you're an old white guy, when you refer to it as one thing, it's always going to be that thing.
That's it.
If Facebook used to be the Facebook, old white people still refer to it as the Facebook. It's never going to change. That's what Jerry Jones did. He was like, I'm not even going to bother learning this guy's name. He's Nate, the tall quarterback. Biotish, doesn't matter to him.
My father-in-law, he calls Skechers stretchers, and it's just no matter what you do, it's just they're stretchers.
It's never going to change. That's the old white people mantra. They don't have enough time left to take the time to learn how to properly say something or learn somebody's name.
Nope. It's the internet. The internets.
The internets, yes. The Facebook, among other things.
But it's just outrageous to me still that we're talking about this. Like, and there was a full investigation. Sal Paolantonio.
That's what we got to touch on. I ranted about this in one sense, and my sense was like, okay, social media being outraged, like find something new to be outraged about, which they have. They're a little bit more justified.
Little thing happened.
Yeah, a little thing happened. But now the talking heads clinging on to this because they need something to talk about. Sal Paolantonio, one of the biggest frauds in Philadelphia, who thinks for some reason like this is his home when he's the king of Philadelphia because ESPN trots him out here. Nobody in Philly cares about you. I'm so glad that this happened because you see the people who are frauds and who you shouldn't pay attention to in this city. So like Sal Paolantonio coming every week and then saying this was a mockery investigation. Tony Kornheiser is saying they should be suspended or fined $1 million. The Astros were suspended or fined. I don't know why I keep doing that. Fined $5 million, and they cheated their way into a World Series title. We tanked one quarter, barely, of a Week 17 game. You want us fined for $1 million? And Jeff McClain, locally, who just lives to stir up this controversy, where he said that players needed to be held back from fighting Doug Peterson after what occurred, only for Jason Kelce to come out and say he approached Doug Peterson, asked if Sudfeld was going in so that they could group up on the sideline, get the snap count right, and take snaps together.
Oh, so you mean like do what actual football players do during a football game?
Yeah, so just like be professional.
Yeah.
It turns out he wasn't going to slit Doug Peterson's throat and ring him up in K-Lot because he was putting Nate Sudfeld in. But according to Jeff McClain, that's exactly what happened.
The mayor of Jacksonville literally tweeted out like welcoming Trevor Lawrence to Jacksonville. So happy that they tanked their way to the number 1 pick this year.
It's just people pick and choose their battles. We'll just ignore that the Jaguars lost 15 straight. Like the Vikings had nothing to play for this week. So why wasn't Dalvin Cook out there? Did Adam Thielen play? Julio Jones, he's had a hamstring for 4 straight weeks. I'm sure that has nothing to do with the fact that the Falcons have been out of it since 2018.
How about they were joking about the players that were still going to have to play for the Steelers this weekend. They're like, well, not everybody can sit, so some guys are going to have to play. Like that's what?
Ben Roethlisberger out. Who cares? Doesn't need the game. A game that was meaningful to the Dolphins, like the Bills pulled Josh Allen. Yeah. Nobody says word one. Nobody says a peep. It's like the scene in The Dark Knight Rises where he's like, when you what was that scene? It was like when you blow up like something in the middle of something like that, like when a shoulder gets shot, like that makes sense. But you shoot one little mare and everybody loses their mind. Like that's what it's like. You play on national TV. Everybody tanks all the time in every sport, but you do it on TV once nationally and the quarterback doesn't play well and everybody loses their mind.
It was literally because it was the last game of the season on Sunday Night Football. Everybody was still awake and angry that they were watching such a horrifically comical football game, but everybody was staying up to watch that because all of us were like, this is the last Sunday night football game of the year. Need to stay up, need to watch it. Playoffs are on the line. You did this to yourself, NFL. Yeah. You did this to yourself, NBC. Like, if this game was on at 1 o'clock like it should have been, we're not talking about this.
Which would have synced it up with Dallas and New York, which is another reason why it makes no sense. You could have just put on Arizona, St. Louis. Like, it'll never make sense to me. But it wasn't helped by Eagles players such as Miles Sanders going and doing an interview. And I'll give Kayvon Wallace the benefit of the doubt. I think he just tweets a lot, and he'll figure it out. He's young. You know, he's one of those guys. He's always talking about how hard he's grinding. He's like, I play every game as hard as I can. But Miles Sanders, how do I say this nicely?
He's done.
Yes, but I wanted to say it in a nice way because he's a young player. He has a ton of talent and a ton of potential. How do I say, please shut up in a nice way? Because Miles,
shut the fuck up.
Yes. That's like the one time you're like, shut the fuck up.
Isn't that movie, right? Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. That's what I want to say. And I'm not saying this to be mean. Just understand optics for a second, Miles Sanders. Vince just pulled up the tweet where he was like, nobody liked the decision to pull Jalen Hurts in favor of Nate Sudfeld. Nobody, because we're playing hard. Miles, of all people, they didn't play you. Did you not think that was weird that you and 11 or 12 other starters weren't out there to start the game? Was that strange?
Yeah. Why weren't you out there, bud?
Did you think maybe something was up when they came in and say, hey, you and Dallas Goedert aren't playing this week? Hey, Deshaun, you're out. Did anything like click? You waited until the fourth quarter
when they're like, Sudfeld's in.
Sudfeld's in. So I don't think he meant to do it, but he threw Sudfeld under the bus. He threw his coach under the bus. And it brings me to my biggest issue with the Eagles and why it's concerning to me that he doesn't get this. The problem with the Eagles isn't that they didn't try hard in week 17. It's that they tried hard for 16 weeks and ended up in a situation in week 17 where the game didn't matter because they were so bad. And part of that is there are all these videos all over social media in the offseason of Miles Sanders' breakout year, him himself saying, I'm having an MVP year. Did he? Nope. And we've talked about this before. He comes out every week. We got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. We're the ones making mistakes. We got to clean that up. And then what happens? He comes out and fumbles the football. His first possession of the year, after that debacle in Washington, he fumbles the football. They have to stop making mistakes. He fumbles the football at the Cleveland 4-yard line. You are the reason that we're in a position where we're tanking in week 17.
Yeah. But you come out and run your mouth when you weren't even involved in the game.
Yeah. Just go
to a beach.
Go to the beach. Yeah. Safely. Tuck your tail between your legs. We got our asses kicked this year. We were bad. We were historically bad. Just shut up and let's go in the offseason and let's regroup as a team. You saying things helps nobody. That is why Carson Wentz did not talk to the media.
Exactly.
He gets media. He's just generic, bland, and that's it. Miles Sanders, like, you are not helping anybody in this situation. You hurt your teammates. You hurt your coach. You made this a larger story when you said something. Let it die.
Yep. And they won't. They just won't.
Yeah. So that's. I can't believe that we're talking about that again this week. The only other thing Eagles-wise I have here is that, speaking of Carson Wentz, he is scheduled to meet with the team this week. Rob Maddie, I'm sorry if I messed up his name, of 97.5 The Fanatic. They share the same Christian faith, so he gets the inside sources. He did write a story this week saying that they're meeting. They don't want to divorce, but it's on the table. They're hoping to avoid it. So I Don't know what that means. I don't really have any comment beyond that. They're going to meet. I don't know what it accomplishes, but
That's when it's like, mommy and daddy have been fighting and we're going to go talk to somebody. We don't know what's going to happen, but daddy might not be living in the same house as mommy soon.
Daddy's going to go stay in a hotel for a while. They're going to walk in and it'll be like the scene in What Happens in Vegas when Queen Latifah is the marriage counselor, but in reality, it'll be Jeffrey Lurie and it'll be Doug and Carson sitting on the couch, and he'll be like, "So what have we learned this week about each other?" Carson will be like, "Well, I learned that this asshole coach hasn't strategized or schemed beyond the year 2016 in football, and I'm the one stuck with it. And then I have this other asshole down the hall who can't draft a receiver. But hey, congrats to Justin Jefferson on being one of 3 receivers with more than 80 receptions and less than 2 drops. Up there with DeAndre Hopkins." That's what he's marriage counts.
I'm going to go dump off the ball to Christian McCaffrey 114 times next season. See ya.
Yeah, I would put on the table, I'd be like, here are the receivers for the Saints. Here are the playmakers for the Colts. Here's the coach for the Colts. Here are the playmakers for the Panthers. And here's the playmakers for the Broncos. Figure it out and let me know where I'm headed. I'm going to go sell my house. That should be the meeting if I were Carson Wentz. You restructure my deal so that you still pay me the money and some other team will take me. And let me know when to catch my flight out of this shithole.
I really do like that guy named Bill up there north of New England. I'm sure he could figure out a way to use me.
Yeah, get Bill Belichick on the phone and let me know how we can work this out.
I did hear reports that there's Washington football team maybe looking at Cam Newton for the next 2 or so years, and I would love that.
I feel bad for Cam though. I mean, Washington is just I'm watching the Sixers game. Washington, I don't trust the field. I just don't trust the FedEx Field. Am I wrong? This is the worst field. Can you think of a worse field at this point?
And that's why I do not want Brady going there this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get into playoff predictions this week, just here in a little bit. But I can't think of a worse field than FedEx Field.
MetLife did have some issues this year.
MetLife did have some issues, but it's a newer stadium. It's just that's badly designed.
Yeah.
FedEx Field's just bad, and it's not like Oakland's not in Oakland anymore, so they're not playing on a baseball field at this point.
Eagles wise, I need to give a shout out to T.Y. McGill for one of my biggest viral tweets of all time. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Over 200,000 views. It was reposted in some Instagram account that has 2.5 million followers. I found it in blogs. So thank you. I'm very happy I rewound that real quick, took the video and put it out there. So thank you for looking like a douche and letting me tweet about it.
So do you get part of his contract extension now? I think that's fair, right?
Can you imagine if he did get fined after he just fines me?
Yes, that'd be wild. You would definitely be the direct result of the fine because that like you said, your video of it was the one that went viral. So do you have to pay his fine if he gets fined?
No, well, he may make me. I don't know. He's a big man, so
the Eagles may just pay it for him since he saved the tank.
Yeah, exactly. Dallas Cowboys don't have much here. Just I showed you before we recorded the video that the Dallas Cowboys marketing team put out on all of their social media platforms of Demarcus Lawrence reading off a teleprompter how great this season was for the fans and thanking them for sticking around through the good and the bad and how wonderful it was.
Cowboy Nation, what a year it's been. Shaped by restrictions, 2020 tested us beyond measure. But while so many things look different, we continue to move forward on and off the field. Together, we persevere through the good and the bad. Thank you all for your love and support this season.
How do you put that out?
It was lethargic. It was lacking of enthusiasm. Care, much like the Cowboys defense for the first part of the season. So maybe in a way it fit.
How do you record that as a social media person for the biggest sports franchise in the world and be like, yep,
that's the one.
Hit.
That's it. That's the one. That one take done. Perfect. Full of energy. You're the next DiCaprio.
And they put like music over it that's so loud too. Maybe they're just trying to drown him out because they don't want to hear it because he's so bad when he's talking. But like even producer Vince knows the level to put the music at. Shout out the year in review video. But I mean, it was like he was like talking like this. And it's like wah 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 wah. I'm like, what the fuck? Like no levels.
His voice is down here. Thank you, Cowboys fans. Through the good, the bad.
Wah, 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 wah.
2020 was a tough year for all of us.
Oh God. So I mean, nothing really else. Jalen Smith's also still a clown. He's tweeting away and Instagram videoing away, trying to sell his sunglasses and his cryo places. And I think he's officially become the most hated Cowboy for Cowboy fans. And that pains me to say because I loved him coming out of Notre Dame. But I think it's time for a mutual breakup.
Can you, though? I haven't looked at his contract, but he did just get a contract.
Yeah, it'll hurt a little bit, but they can.
Interesting. Yeah. Good to know. It's going to be an interesting offseason. Like we said before, we're going to stick with you through the offseason. Our season's really just beginning. We both have top 10 picks.
Yep.
So we'll see where it goes from here. And a lot of it will be who can get out of contracts they shouldn't have handed out in the first place.
And hopefully we go through the offseason, through the draft, and then we can get to actually yelling at each other next season because both of our teams are competing for something. Doubt it, but never know.
think it'll be more heated talking about draft picks that we want. Because
yes.
Obviously we both wanted CeeDee Lamb last year. We could see another situation like that playing out. I guess maybe we should talk about this. Devonta Smith did win the Heisman.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. No, don't thank me. We'll screw it up. We'll definitely screw it up. But I guess that's one other thing to touch on. I think one of the things that we'll jump into later, not this show, but in the weeks to come, is targeting who our teams should key in on in terms of prospects, who we like, who are our guys. We have to have a show where we stamp, quote unquote, our guys. And maybe we can have Kavanaugh and everybody else from the draft show on.
I would love it.
Everybody will get stamped, but Devonta Smith is a clear and obvious stamp for pretty much every Eagles fan.
Give me your percentage that you think he will realistically be there at 6 for you.
75.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what you see a lot, the only reason I say that is because, well, one, if you're the Bengals and just watch Joe Burrow's knee almost get ripped off,
you got to go
probably go with the tackle from Oregon. 2 people are going to take a quarterback. You could trade up and possibly get somebody will get a third. Yep. So it depends on who trades up for quarterbacks. And
the only one I'm
first receiver off the board,
the Dolphins at 4, if they don't trade out.
Yes, and that's another team. Do they go quarterback? I know they said they're committed to Tua, but the same way that the Cardinals were kind of committed until they got Kyler Murray. So it'll be interesting. It depends. It always depends in the first top 10 on who wants a quarterback. But it's one of those things is it's going to come down otherwise to who are people's number one receiver. Because Jamar Chase was supposed to be better than Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm the Bengals and you're picking a wide receiver there, don't you want to put Jamar Chase with Burrow?
You would want, yeah, exactly. You would want to, but at the same time, you just invested in T. Higgins, who played well.
Exactly.
So do you want to double dip?
Yep.
And with that offensive line,
I'm protected.
I don't know. Yeah, that would scar me if I watched Joe Burrow get hurt. Like you invested that much just to see him get hurt 2 months in. I would make sure that never happens again.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for the draft. I'm excited that we have, picks up front. As much as I love having a late round pick because that means you did something good in the season. I mean, now and going to the draft, there's nothing better than being able to be like, all right, well, we have a top 10 pick. So,
yeah, I wish you could be like the Dolphins and win 10 games and also get a top 5 pick. That's a lot of fun.
Unbelievable.
Jesus, the Texans are something else, man. Like, I don't even know how you get that poor new GM. Like, how do you get out of that hole?
Why would you want to go there as a coach? How about that video of Deshaun Watson apologizing to JJ Watt. Like we ruined one of your years. Like you were healthy all season and we ruined it.
Yeah, that is sad. Like those two, like if two good guys, two people that everybody likes, it's that video is sad because you're like, yeah, you did waste a year. Like you did. This does suck.
Yep, it hurts. And the other teams that they have to put up with in the AFC. I mean, for the next coming years, like the Chiefs aren't going anywhere.
And for them, like you were up 24-0 over the Chiefs in a playoff game, and now have a top 5 pick. Don't even get to use it. And you don't even have a second round pick.
Nope.
They wasted 1 year. This could be a situation. They waste 3 years. They can't get out of the roster that they have. They don't have any draft picks to do it.
Nope. And I don't know what their cap room is like. I don't know what they can do free agent wise, but that's we can dive into that too.
Real quick, well, let's get into the playoffs because I don't know how we got on the Texans for this long, but they are top 10 in salary and potentially top 5, if I remember correctly.
Perfect.
And Deshaun Watson's contract extension doesn't kick in yet.
Oh, good.
So it's going to be worse.
So it's perfect. RIP Texans. Okay. So what we're gonna do here. You want to bring in producer Vince for this one? We can bring producer Vince in.
Yeah, if he's doing the picks, I know he has some questions for us about the playoffs coming up. So our teams didn't make the playoffs, but we should still talk about the playoffs because it's going to be some great football. And the first year going to 7 seeds. So 2 things we want to do today. One, producer Vince has some questions with us just to bounce them off about player A or B for the upcoming games, and then we'll do our playoff picks as well. So guys, what order do we want to do them in? Do we want to do playoff picks or do we want to start with our questions?
Picks first.
Okay. Picks first. Got it.
So it is super wild card weekend, right? We have 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, 1, 4, 8.
Awesome.
I'm super excited for my weekend. So for this segment, we're not going to do like we've done picks in the past against the spread. We're just going to straight up pick them. So who's going to win each game? So we could do it in the order that we do our TikTok famous power rankings, since I'm the bottom of the triangle, as always.
Okay, so should I give you guys the game and then we'll go from there?
Yeah.
All right, so just because I'm going off the sports book here, DraftKings Sportsbook, I'll just go in order of what they have. So the first game they have, it's in chronological time order, if you guys want to do it that way. So Saturday at 1:05, we have Colts at Bills. I have the Bills. I just want them to be on a magic carpet ride. I just want the best for the Bills fans. And I'm all about COVID safety, but maybe just everybody wear a mask and let them have a sellout.
Oh, God, please. That would be amazing. I'm going Bills here as well. I feel like they got the tricky slate for their game with the Colts. The Colts are a tricky team right now. So I don't love it, but I do have the Bills because I'm in agreement with you. I would love to see them on a magic carpet ride.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bills just too obvious not to take. I think the Colts are going to get their teeth kicked in, as much as I love Frank Reich.
That's a good thing, though. Here's why. They get their teeth kicked in. They're like, all right, we're a playoff team. What takes us next level? We need a better quarterback to get us there. Carson, we're going to do it, buddy. We're going to save you. We're going to get you out. I'm going to get you out. It's one of my favorite videos. Out of here. We're going to get you out of here. All right. The 4:40 game on Saturday, which is really 1:40 on the West Coast between 2 West Coast teams. We have the Rams at Seahawks. Rams versus Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson just doesn't flat out lose games like this. I've got the Seahawks.
Give me the Seahawks as well. Jared Goff's going to be coming off of not playing. Who knows what that thumb's going to be like? I know that Rams pass rush and defense is really good, but like you said, Russell Wilson finds a way to beat those kinds of defenses.
Do we know what the Seahawks and Rams record against each other is this year?
Almost always 1-1.
Yeah.
They split almost every year.
Assuming it's 1-1, I'm taking Seattle. Especially since it's
Seattle won the first game 20-9. The last game 20-9. First time they played The Rams won 23-16, 1-1.
Yeah.
And I think they picked off Wilson like 3 times, if I remember correctly, or 4.
That game, Russell Wilson was 22 of 37, 248 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks.
Okay.
Yeah, then I have Seattle. I think it's going to be a boring game, and I think Seattle's going to win.
It feels like, especially if the Rams have to go with the backup quarterback. He did play well against Arizona, but I just, how much can you give against Russell Wilson, to be honest?
Yeah.
All right, now the Saturday 8:15 game, we may have to switch this up a little bit, because if you're struggling with a team that is blatantly tanking, like the Eagles were, we've got Washington football team home against the Buccaneers. Instead of doing picks, because I'm just going to go ahead and assume that we're all going Bucs, unless Vince has something crazy going on.
No.
I interviewed Martin Gramatica today. I have to pick the Bucs.
Okay, I was going to take the Bucs as well, so we've all got Bucs. So, should we just do the spread? Do you think the Buccaneers cover -8?
Yes.
No.
You don't think so? Oh, all right. Give me why, Vince.
I just don't think it happens. I think Alex Smith is, too much of a fighter to get blown out in the playoffs.
I want Washington to cover the spread, because all this talk about the NFC East, Eagles tanking, just kind of let this team with a losing record into the playoffs. I would love for them to come out and give the Buccaneers all their money's worth. So I'll say, yeah. I don't think that the Bucs cover -8.
I just, if Brady and that offense starts scoring points, Washington does not have what it takes to keep up with them at all, offensively.
Fair. And they've been scoring a lot recently.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to Sunday. This might be, to me, is the game of the week. Actually, I lied. I know my game of the week. This might be the most competitive game of the week, but I have a separate game of the week. So it's Ravens-Titans at 1 o'clock. Guys, who do you have in the rematch from last year?
Ravens have been a buzzsaw lately. They really have. Titans find ways to win these games. This is my toughest, I feel like, game. I'm going to say Ravens.
Vince?
I
don't know. It's the fraud bowl. I have no idea.
This is absolutely the fraud bowl. 100%. We have, all three of us have criticized these teams at all separate points. It's not even a running joke that we have. We just all at points have noted just what frauds these two teams are.
Yep.
So I will. Who do you?
I guess the Ravens. I feel like they're less fake.
So I agree. I think the Ravens do get revenge from last year. The Titans defense just is so bad. Even if Derrick Henry has an 175-yard, 2-touchdown game, is it enough? So the Ravens do it. They're finally, the little ant realizes they can walk across the Sharpie and it won't die. They can do it. They can overcome an obstacle. You can do it, Ravens. Here's another interesting game this week. We've got Bears and then we have Saints. So Saints, to me, will be interesting because Michael Thomas coming back from injury. Can he play? Alvin Kamara, will he be back from COVID? So at full strength, you lean Saints. But maybe without those two guys, what do you guys think?
Saints.
Bears stink.
Oh, you can't. That's friendly fire there, bud.
You stink?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 5'8". I can play quarterback.
Yeah, the Bears kind of back themselves into the playoffs here. We talked about Drew Brees and trying to go off in a magical run into the sunset, and the team's going to be playing hard for him and getting some of his horses back. So I'm going Saints here.
Yeah, I just don't think that they could. After what happened last year, losing to the Vikings in the first round, I'd be shocked if they let that happen twice. So I have Saints as well.
And the final game?
Yeah, one more game in the intro there, bud.
I was saying that. Give me a second. Jeez. All right. This is my game of the week. So I have Cleveland and Pittsburgh. This, to me, I think the Browns are a feel-good story, but this has been far from a rivalry. That I know the Browns just won because the Steelers half-assed it. So I have the Steelers, but I think this will be the most hard-fought, fun game to watch this week.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers as well. Without their coach, Kevin Stefanski, who has really turned this team around this season, I think that's going to hurt. I think their left tackle or guard is out as well. Steelers are going to be at full strength. Big Ben has had a week off. He's one of those guys that thrives off having a week to rest and just eat probably 14 cheeseburgers, and that arm's going to be ready to go. So Steelers win this game against the Browns, unfortunately.
I'm going to do what I do here and take the Browns.
You have to. You were like the first one to put them into the power rankings and really believe in them. So I think you almost have to.
I think if there's an upset this weekend, it's this game. This feels like a do it for coach game. Because he's not there. They're gonna be like, let's get him his first playoff win, even though he's not here. I just feel like I got a lot to play for. All 7 people that don't have COVID.
Yeah, do it for coach, do it for the city, do it because you've been little brother for so long. This is your moment to shine against Pittsburgh that you've been waiting for decades as they've dominated you. I just think they'll have the chip on their shoulder, which will make the game fun, but I don't know if they have enough to pull it off. I've been a believer in the Steelers all year. I'm not going to quit on them now.
Gold standard.
This feels like a Steelers blow it on primetime TV moment.
I don't know.
The Mike Tomlin game.
How many times have we seen the Browns win a primetime game? It's hard to believe in that.
Mike Tomlin will outcoach whoever the backup coach is for the Browns.
Well, yeah. The guy that's had a job for 15 years is going to outdo the backup coach for
and that's why I'm going with the Steelers.
All right. So that caps all 6 games this week, right?
That's wild. Super wild card weekend.
I can't wait. I was hesitant to believe in this 7-team system, but now I'm all in. And it was a perfect year to do it.
Give me as many games as we can get.
I agree.
All right, Vince. So you're going to pop us some questions. We have not been prepared for these. I have no idea what you're going to ask us. I'm a little nervous, not going to lie. But fire away.
All right. Did you guys see what Chase Young said about Tom Brady?
I want Tom. We want Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Tom Brady has more sacks or touchdowns?
Well, I don't think he's going to sack anyone.
I think you know what I meant. So answer the question,
Will he be sacked more times than he throws touch? Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I'm going to go sacked more, even though they win. Because realistically, he could throw for 2 touchdowns. They could score 24, 28 points. It would be enough to win. But he could get sacked 4 or 5 times. I think Washington's defensive line constantly keeps them in games, but they fail to struggle more than – like if they had to get to 28, if a gun was pointed to their heads, they could not get the 28 points.
No.
So I have to say sacks because it's the only thing that keeps them in the game. And Brady could throw 3 touchdowns, get sacked 6 times, and they still win.
And what's the thing that always gets Brady? Good defensive lines that can bring pressure, and that's exactly what Washington can do. So I'm going to go sacks as well because, it could be 4-2, even 4-3, 3-2. So, I'm going to go sacks over touchdown.
I was afraid of Chase Young all year until he said that, and I'm like, dude's career's done.
Yeah, don't come for the GOAT in your first playoff game.
Yeah,
especially if your name literally translates to pedophile, you can't be coming at Tom Brady like that.
Chase Young. Oh, good one.
I like that.
So number 2, how many times does Mitch Trubisky definitely get picked off by Marshawn Lattimore or anyone on the Saints?
2.
1.
3.
3. Wow.
I think someone has 2. I think Malcolm Jenkins has the other.
Okay. That's fair. All right. I think they'll try to run it a lot and just control the clock.
Mm-hmm.
If they could do that, I don't know.
They're going to be behind.
That's true too. But without the noise in the dome, I think you'll be less helter-skelter.
Yep.
So I'll say 1. He'll play well enough. Will it be good enough to win? No. But 2.
All right. More likely upset of the weekend: Browns or Colts.
Browns. That's my game of the week. I cannot wait. They did a good job making that the last game to wait on. We will be redeemed on Sunday Night Football next week for what we saw last week.
What'd you say, Kevin?
Colts, because I feel like we're all so in on the Bills that we're just up for an upset here, and they have a chance to just rip our hearts out.
That's why I picked these two games, because like it's both two teams that should win by a lot, and I feel like we're just not, like, it's one of those games where you just don't think about it so much that the upset happens.
Yep.
And then another more likely upset: Washington or the Bears.
The Bears. I've seen New Orleans blow this so many times.
I'm going to go Washington just because of that pass rush. And that's what we've seen, how the GOAT, Tom Brady, has lost big playoff games, right? Twice in the Super Bowl to the Giants. If the pass rush can get to him and get to him early, they would have a chance.
I'm saying Washington too, just because Tom Brady can't handle the NFC East. I don't know what it is, but it's been 3 times now. It's officially a trend.
That's fair. I didn't even think about that. Good call.
All right, next question. Does anything even remotely interesting happen in the Ravens and Titans game?
If the Ravens win, like, that would be interesting. I don't know. If Trace McSorley played.
I'm gonna ask you two a question about this game, and we can make it more. Who has more rushing yards in this game, Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry?
That was my original question.
Nice. And also Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry has more yards. Lamar Jackson could have more rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. Derrick Henry.
And Lamar Jackson could also have the longest run of the game.
I could see that. Break one up the middle.
Mm-hmm. All right. What's the lowest scoring game?
Browns, Steelers.
Rams, Seahawks.
That was mine.
Rams, Seahawks. Yeah, I it's hard to. The Rams have a backup quarterback, as we said, and the Seahawks defense has been playing really well lately, ever since they got healthy and brought Jamal Adams back. So I don't know how much success the Rams have. And it's not like the Seahawks have been blowing the doors off people lately either.
No. Well, they have the best wide receiver duo in the league.
Apparently.
Yeah.
According to TikTok.
Highest scoring game.
That's a good question. I might go with this might be an outlier answer here, but I'm going Colts Bills. Bills offense has been off the chain lately. They're just this ridiculous. They put up 56 in a game where they weren't even trying. And the Colts, they can score. They can certainly score. So I've got the Bills winning. I think they score a lot. The Colts can keep up, but they don't have enough firepower.
Colts Bears for me, or Colts Bills for me as well. Exactly the reason. I mean, Josh Allen's a freak. They've been slinging the ball, scoring a lot of points, but at the same time, just like the reason why I picked the Colts, I feel like they could keep up, but in the end, don't have enough.
Yeah, I feel like the Colts could score a lot in this game. I feel like it's Philip Rivers' probably last chance to show us he can do something in the playoffs. Frank Reich's going home to where he had that gigantic upset, come from behind win. Like, if he was going to do it anywhere, it's going to be here.
And Philip Rivers doesn't want to be done yet. He doesn't want to go home to 19 kids. He wants to keep playing football.
Yeah, just keep playing football forever.
All right,
we got, Vincent?
I had a sixth question. It's not exactly teams that made it. It's more the teams that didn't. Which team that didn't make it could make it the furthest in the playoffs, the Dolphins or the Cardinals?
Ooh. The Cardinals. They're likely in the playoffs if Kyler Murray doesn't sprain his ankle in that game. So if you're looking just strictly at quarterbacks, the Dolphins, we just talked about earlier, do they even believe in Tua as a quarterback in general?
I was going to say,
run. Like, do you believe in that team in general?
Dolphins only if they have their closer in Fitzmagic.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Like they'd have to bring in their backup quarterback to win a game in the playoffs. And I think we talk about the Cardinals all the time. They just have to stay disciplined and they could beat anybody in the league.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals have that. I don't know what, like, not team of destiny, but like they can catch fire at literally any moment.
True.
And they can definitely win. What is it, 4 games?
Yeah.
They can get hot and win 4 games.
Yeah.
And the defense has played well at stretches, so they just have to. You have to catch them in the right stretch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. So sorry, anyone that's a fan of them.
Sorry, yeah.
That's all I've got.
Me as well. Again, just a tragedy of epic proportions this week that I don't know if we'll ever recover from. A meaningless Week 17 game. So just a message to everybody out there, just stay strong, stick together. We will get through this.
We will. Stay strong. We'll be here with you. We're going to be dropping down to 1 show a week starting next week. But like we said, we will be going all through the playoffs, all through the offseason, through the draft, and into next year because Birds versus Boys just never going to go away. Ever.
I just got some breaking news live on the podcast. Howie Roseman's Twitter account has been suspended until he deletes some problematic tweets.
Oh, well, if I could plan a coup and storm someplace, it'd be Novacare Complex until he is removed.
Well, enjoy Super Wildcard Weekend. Drink Stateside Vodka. Go to Brandon_sports on Twitter. Birds vs. Boys Pod on Twitter. And we will be back next week. Go Bucks. Aidan?
Goodbye.